Man, I really want to look at this. I mean, this looks amazing. I mean, this book code for Wally is gonna be amazing too. Sorry about that. That's everything in the last video, and the Thanksgiving season is technically over. Although we are getting close to the very end of the year, we still have to do another prediction video for the month of November. Yes, this is my Oscar nomination predictions on the big 8 categories for the month of November. This is going to be very, very interesting here for these predictions. Nothing really big has changed in terms of my predictions, but there have been a couple of movies that have been released already, some of which have already got some screenings like Babylon, or some early screenings as well for other movies, but also there are some movies that haven't officially been released, such as Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, She Said. Some of the Netflix movies are getting their theatrical runs, like Bardo or False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery. She Said and The Sun have also been released. And we also got our first set of nominations with the 38th Independent Spirit Awards. I didn't thought of doing a nomination reaction video because I think the presentation of that, it would be very interesting. Oh, wait, no, not interesting, but very odd, I meant. So I didn't really do it, but the nominations have been announced for the Spirit Awards. And one thing, of course, about the Spirit Awards this year, from now on, all this, like, not just this one, but also like the British Independent Spirits and even the Gothams, they are doing a gender-neutral category in the performances. So they have like 10 nominations for Best Supporting Performance and 10 nominations for Best Lead Performance. Basically 50-50 for both men and females. There is a lot of massive nominations going on here for the Spirits. The Golden Globe nominations, and I believe Critics' Choice might be coming soon. I know... Let me see here real quick. We do not know when the nominations for that. I haven't looked that up yet. The Golden Globe nominations are going to be announced on December 12th. So I might be doing a reaction video to that when it comes out. But that's going to be on a Monday. So I guess soon. So it might not be out till Tuesday maybe. But it really depends. So depends on the timing I have. So that would definitely be probably a reaction I might do. I tried that last year, but it didn't work well. So I'm going to try again, hopefully this year, to see if it works. So as I've stated, we're going to be looking at the big 8 categories as as one bonus film, of course. I do have an update a bit in my animated feature predictions. So with that being said, as soon as I finish setting up something here real quick, I think it's time to get this started. For Adapted Screenplay, I've got Ryan Johnson for Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery, Kazuo Ishiguro for Living, David McGee for A Man Called Otto, Rebecca Linquish for She Said, and Sarah Polley for Women Talking. The only one I did took out here was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And I will probably discuss a little bit more about that when we get to Best Picture. I still think it is a possibility, but there are some people that have seen it now, because it has been having some limited theater runs in some portions of the countries. And in fact, it played in my local Regal Cinema Theater in the mall area in my county. I really wanted to go see a Netflix film on the big screen, but I save up all my movies for my marathon because if my personal favorite nomination does not win, I would get pissed. So I do not want that to happen to me. So maybe Glass Onion could be in some theaters. I haven't seen it played in our area yet. So that'll be the thing. But it is confident. Like, basically, A Man Called Otto, the one in the center, is the very questionable one, because that has yet to get screeners or has yet to be released. But as you might have noticed, I have brought She Said back. I took it out last month after its first reactions that came out at New York and London, and they weren't highly passionate, but when the movie officially came out for the public, it has gotten a bit of a better reception. So that's why I brought She Said back in here Woman Talking, it feels confident that it is still the front runner here, regardless, because it's the only major contender in the adapted side that is guaranteed for a Best Picture nomination. So, and she actually did got nominated for screenplay at the Spirits, but it is combined. So, just FYI, she did got nominated for that category as well. As for others, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever doesn't look like it. I don't know what else I can think of because we are kind of losing some content. It's kind of like a bit of a barren year for the adapted side, as the original kind of has more of the competition. So we'll just have to wait and see what the reactions to A Man Called Otto is, and we'll see what new contenders might go in. Unless for some reason the Oscars confirm the Banshees of Inisherin's adapted, but it's unlikely at this moment. So, Woman Talking still my front runner. Confident in Glass Onion and Living, and She Said. A Man Called Otto is the questionable spot. For original screenplay, I have Charlotte Wells for Aftersun, Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schnert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fabelmans, and Todd Field for Tar. So I have taken out Turning Red in this lineup, which maybe still could be possible based on my perspective, but if it would have to get a Critics' Choice nomination first before anything else. But I'm not really seeing the hype going around it for this category because there is one new contender here that has been getting built up ever since it got a little bit more of limited releases in theaters, and that is the independent film Aftersun, which I believe premiered at Sundance. This has been a big independent film. Some people had considered this one of the best movies of the year. And now there is a couple of pros and cons. The pros is it's been doing well. It's guaranteed to win Best Picture at the British Independent Spirit Awards, if I'm mistaken, because it is also a big British movie. And so that means you're going to see it big in a couple of places. Yeah, it is up for Best British Independent Film, along with a lot of other categories here. They have a lot more categories compared to the American equivalent, but it does also have a U.S. distribution as well. For the U.K., it's Mubi. For the United States, it's A24. And ironically enough, two of the producers of Aftersun are Barry Jenkins and Adele Romanowski. Adele Romanowski is a very long time collaborated with Jenkins, as she had produced a lot of his movies recently. And of course, Jenkins is the director of the Best Picture winning film of 2016 with Moonlight. And yeah, it actually premiered at Cannes. It actually was at the Cannes, not Sundance, I meant. Excuse me on that part. So yeah, it has been considered one of the best reviewed movies of the year. For the main American ones, it did do well. It's most likely guaranteed to, like, in a couple of categories, like first feature. It is also up for breakthrough performance for Frankie Corolla, lead performance for Paul Mescal. It did not get in for director or best picture, unfortunately, but it does still show the presence in here throughout the season. And with me kind of still, also it's up for editing and cinematography, but with me still kind of feeling the edge with Babylon, which I will probably talk about more when we get to Best Picture. I will save all my Babylon stuff when we get to the picture lineup. Everything Everywhere All at Once did really well with the Spirits. We'll get to that when we get to picture. Banshees of Inisherin, still confident in that. Fabelmans, still confident. Tar also got a screenplay nomination here. The Spirits, same thing with Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's just Babylon's going to be the massive question mark for me, and I do have Everything Everywhere All at Once as my front runner here. I think at first glance it was The Fabelmans at one point, but I think I went back to Everything Everywhere All at Once. For supporting actress, I got Jessie Buckley in Woman Talking, Carrie Condon in The Banshees of Inisherin, Claire Foy in Women Talking, Nina Hoss in Tar, and Stephanie Hoos in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I didn't really change minds since the last time I've done this. So a lot of people are now with Women Talking. Hadn't been out for a while, though. It is going to be getting its official release sometime at the beginning of next month. I think it's the next weekend, or like this upcoming week of December 2nd or December 9th. I should have been more professional about this. December. Oh, it's going to be a December 23rd. So it won't be until like 2 days before Christmas when it officially comes out. I think it will be in some certain theaters for some critics and press screenings. Because right now the reception of Women Talking is actually in the same range as she said. But once the public comes out, there could be better reception when that movie is out. And so we'll just have to wait and see. If you might notice that the Spirit nominations, none of the Women Talking casts are nominated. That's because Women Talking won the Robert Altman Award, which is the Best Ensemble category. And for the role, if the movie wins the Robert Altman Award for Ensemble, it isn't eligible for the acting category. So that's why Buckley, Claire Foy, Rooney Mara, or even Ben Whishaw are not in the supporting or leading categories. Stephanie Hoos is actually in the breakthrough performance at the Spirits and not for supporting actress, which could also be a rule as well. And ironically enough, they did nominate Jamie Lee Curtis for supporting actress, since they did put Stephanie Hoos in for breakthrough performance. I do not see Nina Hoss in here, since Tar was eligible here. So that could be a big hit, but it is very up in the air questioning right now. Some people have Carrie Condon. Some people would say Stephanie Hoos. Some people would say Claire Foy. I'm just going to say Jessie Buckley because of the Afterglow nomination, I would say. It's pretty much up in the air until when the public sees Women Talking and which one they think is the better performance. I don't know what other candidates would be in the possibility here I'm thinking of. One candidate that some people are really hoping they want to see is Angela Bassett in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But some people have said if she would get in only if the movie gets in for picture. Now, I could see Bassett getting like a SAG nomination. I guarantee that. But it would be like, is it like a BAFTA jury vote? Would be something for the BAFTA jury? And would it be possible if Black Panther Wakanda Forever gets in for picture? Which some people... It's like the movie doesn't, like, we'll get to that when we get to picture. So it's very questioning up in the air. So it's just like 4 I'm kind of confident for nominations. It's just the 5th one, maybe Haas could come in if Jamie Lee Curtis could go, if Jamie Lee Curtis gets more momentum. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's just like so chaotic that we do not have a clear frontrunner in for supporting actress. Supporting actor, I'm surprised to say this, after 2 months, I finally made a change. I got Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, which I thought Tyree was the part of his last name, but no, it's just Henry that's in his last name. Barry Keoghan in The Banshees of Inisherin, Ki-Hugh Kwan in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Ben Whishaw in Women Talking. I took Judd Hirsch down here for The Fabelmans. Now, the FYC ads had came out for a couple of the other studios like Universal and even A24. And I forgot to mention for Universal, it was confirmed for She Said that Zoe Kazan would go leading and Carey Mulligan will go supporting, which Mulligan could be a possibility for this previous category I talked about. More likely a SAG nomination, but we're not sure yet in terms of like BAFTA or the Oscars thing or something like that. And A24 had released their FYC ads as well. For Universal, for The Fabelmans, it goes by the order of how they put in for supporting actor. It went Paul Dano first, then Seth Rogen, then Judd Hirsch. So Judd Hirsch probably having that minimal amount of screen time is the reason why I took him out. That's another reason why I don't have Angela Bassett, because I heard she's only has a very, very small part. But then again, small performances do get nominated sometimes. It's just the thing. A24 did confirm Ki-Hugh Kwan in supporting, so I think that is basically going to be a sweep throughout the season. So if there is anybody who's going to be his competition, it would be Ben Whishaw. Brian Tyree Henry is kind of getting a little bit of the build-up for me. He did got that Spirit Award nomination for Best Supporting Performance, so that's a good start for him. And I did do the double nomination for Banshees with putting both Gleeson and Keoghan in here. Keoghan could be more likely than Gleeson when we get to more of the bigger industry prizes, because Keoghan would definitely make in the BAFTAs through the jury voting, because he was nominated for courtesy of the jury with Calm with Horses, and so he's been a notable figure for the BAFTA community, so I think he will most likely get that BAFTA nomination, get him to the Oscars. Kind of like, I would say Barry Keoghan would be like Jesse Plemons, where Plemons only got the BAFTA nomination, he got in for the Oscars. So I think that's what I'm doing with him. I don't know what else to go with other than I will save all the Babylon stuff, of course, for later. It feels like you know which ones are the confident ones. It's just like which Fableman actor is going to replace one of these five. But I am very confident with these five at the time being. I don't know what else is in for the consideration other than Brad Pitt. So, oh boy. I think let's just move on to the next category that I didn't change. Actress, I have Naomi Ackie and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Cate Blanchett and Tar, Daniela Deadwyler and Till, Michelle Williams and The Fablemans, and Michelle Yeoh and Everything Ever All at Once. Like a Man Called Otto, we'll have to wait and see what I Want to Dance with Somebody does next month. Even if it could be divisive, Naomi Ackie could still get in just because she's in a movie directed by Cassie Lemons, who, of course, obviously he did Harriet, that got Cynthia Erivo in, and the fact that it is written by Anthony McCartan. And McCartan, when he writes scripts, it's for movies, acting nominations do get in. So I'm still a little bit having Ackie as like the fifth spot until in the public's reaction here. Williams has been confirmed leading through the FYC ads for Universal, so she's going to be sticking here. Michelle Yeoh is pretty much confident. Daniela Deadwyler, oddly enough, the film was eligible, but Till was completely shut out of the Independent Spirit Awards. There are usually weird nominations, but sometimes if you miss a Spirit Award nomination, you might not sweep. And that could be with Danielle Deadwyler. Oh, actually, they did nominate Nina Haas. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I just looked at the supporting performance here on the Wikipedia page, and they did nominate Nina Haas. So, okay, I'm confident with that. But yeah, they did not nominate Danielle Deadwyler in for Best Actress. Till did not got shut out here. So right now it looks like maybe Cate Blanchett might take her third Oscar. I might be jumping in the Blanchett train. For right now, I might still could see Deadwyler might win like Globe or SAG or something like that to make her in the race. But you got Blanchett, who is like probably most likely in a major film that is going to be a major Best Picture player. Same thing with Michelle Yeoh. And Blanchett could take home her third. So right now, because only just with the Spirit Award miss, I'm going to say Blanchett is my front runner now with Michelle Yeoh in second place. So Deadwyler, I would say, would drop down to third for me. And then we'll just have to wait and see for one more performance, and that is Margot Robbie's performance in Babylon, which, once again, I'll save it for later. So, yeah, I didn't change much. Zoe Kazan could be a possibility for She Said, since the movie had gotten a bit of a better reception. No words for Rooney Mara for Women Talking. She didn't even make it in here for the Spirit Award list. Interesting they went with Regina Hall and Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. That's interesting. Aubrey Plaza and Emily the Criminal. They did nominate Taylor Russell in Bones and All, which that movie kind of did decent here at the Spirit Awards, including picture and supporting actor for Mark Rylance, which that could be another possibility for the supporting actor category. They really do go into Bones and All. So, whew. Let's go into our next category that I did make one other change. For Best Actor, I didn't even want to do this, but because we've been losing contenders, and the fact that I just don't know where to go. So here's the thing. If you have seen for the past 3 months, I had predicted Jim Parsons for Best Actor in Spoiler Alert. And it has a bit of the buzz because it has Michael Showalter as the director. When Focus Features showed their FYC ads, there was no ads for Spoiler Alert. Nothing. So, and the fact that it is a Christmas movie, even though it's kind of like a biopic as well, I am a bit worried that movie might suck. So if Focus Features are not campaigning that movie, then probably means they're not campaigning Parsons. So Jim Parsons won't be able to get his first Oscar nomination unless the movie does somehow do well. We'll just have to wait and see. And it was kind of tough to pick who was going to be the fifth spot because I didn't consider bringing back Song Kang-ho and Broker, and I almost did consider Park Hae-il in Decision to Leave. But since I am not going big on the international director and picture nomination right now, spoiler alert for the next two categories, there was only one performance that some people think it is possible, and it could be a possibility. And because I had nowhere else I was kind of a bit hesitant because I feel like I would be performing this movie, but I just have nowhere else to go. So for Best Actor, I've got Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick, Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, Tom Hanks in A Man Called Otto, and Bill Nighy in Living. So yeah, I put Tom Cruise in here because I had nowhere else to go. And it is still a possibility. Some people think he could get in. Only place you won't see him at the only place you won't see him at is at the Golden Globes, because you know for a fact he won't be showing up. And same thing, maybe Brendan Fraser might miss. We'll get to him in a second. Not for the Oscars, but for the Globes. So we'll get into that in a second. Colin Farrell, pretty confident. Bill Nighy's confident. Here's coming the thing, the catchy eye here, the spirits. Brendan Fraser's not here. The Whale was eligible, and that movie got shut out. Probably the committee was very divisive on the movie. So they weren't really fans of the movie. Now, I'm not really sure there was a recent controversy with Fraser of some allegations, but I don't know what it is, so I haven't done my research, but it wasn't a big, heavy news media story, so I don't think it's likely. But he also told the Globes to go screw themselves. Yeah, he called the Globes to go screw themselves, so with Fraser calling the Globes out on how they are in their committee, which is the Hollywood Foreign Press, that could be that means they probably won't nominate Fraser for Best Actor in Drama. Same thing with Tom Cruise. So Colin Farrell might probably take maybe a bit of a competitor for Fraser, depending on how he does. And also, if you might notice, I forgot, I'm still not going to the Austin Butler thing. I still think he's going to do the Taron Egerton thing, in my opinion, which is why I'm not confident with him either. It's just like, it's Farrell, Fraser, Nighy are the three that I'm confident. Hanks will have to wait and see how the movie does. And Cruise is just, I do not know where else to go. Since I had to take Parsons out, because of course no FYC ads for spoiler alert. I don't know how Song Kang-ho or Park Hae-il will do. Maybe they could get in some room in for the acting categories of the Globes on the drama side, but we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe even a jury voting. So I think still the legacy of Fraser of the movie, I think I would still have him out front, with Farrell might be pushing him up in second place. For Best Director, I'm not really confident if this might be the DGA lineup, but I just have it as it is. And that is Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schnert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fablemans, Todd Field for Tar, Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun Maverick, and Sarah Polley for Women Talking. I have taken Edward Berger out for All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, it still could be a thing of a BAFTA thing, and if it does so well, I'm going to be kicking myself for taking him out. But I brought Joseph Kosinski back in here because I'm not in for Chazelle yet. There is one person, but we'll discuss that when we get to the Best Picture. It's just like the Daniels are confident, Spielberg's confident, which I forgot to mention in the last video. I have him now as the front runner for this category. Todd Field's confident. Sarah Polley definitely is a little bit confident, but she is kind of a bit lower, but that's just because not everybody has seen it yet. She and Field and the Daniels got nominated for director at the Spirits, so that is definitely a good start for them. We'll just have to wait and see how the Globes or the Critics' Choice would do. I'm a little bit curious concerning if Polley might miss. If Woman Talking doesn't have a lot of high passions when the public sees it, she could miss. And that could lead into the hashtag Oscar So Male controversy again, but since Polley is respected by the industry, and she's doing a movie that has a serious subject, that has to get in here. Not as an automatic nomination, but just to make sure they don't avoid controversies. But it depends if the public really cares about Women Talking. Like Globes and Critics' Choice, but like, is the public. But then again, they did nominate, like, divisive directors like Adam McKay for Vice. So we'll just say it like that. But although Woman Talking is not divisive, but if they would, or Todd Phillips for Joker, if they would go with Darren Aronofsky for The Whale, which that's unlikely at the moment. But then again, if it's one of the most divisive movies of the year and one of the most talked about, that could be a possibility. But we know A24 is going to go all in on Everything Everywhere, and they didn't even need to campaign. The movie is the campaign itself. Marty McDonagh, maybe, but I don't know if that's going to be a movie where the directing is going to stand out. There is a possibility we might see the first animated film and director with Guillermo del Toro and Mark Gustafsson for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. That could be a possibility, but I doubt it, because if I did, that would have been too much of a wishful thinking. So, yeah, so I had to put Joseph Kosinski back in here in place of Edward Berger. I almost did consider Park Chan-wook in here for Decision to Leave as well. It's just, like, if there's going to be, like, it depends. If one of the two wins at New York or Los Angeles Film Critics Circle, so I Drive My Car did, then it is a possibility. But if not, then they might not be big. And it also depends on both of those groups and also the BAFTA jury as well. For Best Picture, I did make one change. I have taken All Quiet on the Western Front out. My Best Picture lineup right now for the month of November 2022 is Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Tar, Till, Top Gun Maverick, The Whale, and Women Talking. Now, I might want to take Till out for Best Picture because obviously it really underperformed The Spirits. Actually got shut out of The Spirits. But I just have it as like my 10th spot at the moment because we just still... We'll get to that in a second. So, The Whale is now my new spot. I brought it back in because I hadn't really thought about this. But yeah, it is possible, and some people are still predicting it, that despite of the critics' divisive reaction, even when it comes out, it's going to be in Best Picture regardless. It's going to be like Bohemian Rhapsody, Vice, Joker, and Don't Look Up. And there has to be the one movie that is divisive by critics, very mixed, either people consider one of the best of the year or one of the worst of the year. But not the worst or the best, but like, okay, not in the worst, but just like one of the best, or they just really didn't like it and say, don't nominate this, this movie is stupid. Like, that's what people would say with Bohemian Rhapsody, Vice, Joker, and Don't Look Up. And The Whale kind of fits in that category, because I actually, since I'm confident because of the divisiveness and it being probably one of the most talked about movies of how divisive it is, it could land itself in here, which is why I have it for Frasier and Makeup. I should have probably put it in the Adapted Screenplay category. Maybe Hong Chau or Sadie Sink for Supporting Actress. It just depends on how A Man Called Otto does in the adapted side. So that's why I didn't put it in there, but I think I should. Del Toro's Pinocchio right now, it is a little bit lower some people's radar a bit because there is one massive con, not because it's an animated film, and I'm glad some people like the Oscar expert brought this up, that because it is another Pinocchio adaptation. And this is the third one of this year. There was the crappy direct-to-DVD movie, animated film that was released at the beginning of the year that was so laughably bad. You have Disney's live-action remake by Robert Zemeckis, and then you have this film. And Netflix really, it could be campaigning on this. And this could be their thing. If not, maybe Glass Onion, or what more could be an industry thing, All Quiet on the Western Front. Now, as I've stated, there are some screenings Del Toro's Pinocchio is going through. I think it will just depend on how the public's reaction is going to be when it officially comes out on Netflix. Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, and Woman Talking, those six basically explain for themselves. If I would say what would be the top five, it would be Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fabelmans, Tar, and Women Talking. Now, the thing is, I might be considered Women Talking maybe still the front runner just for right now, because I have like the screenplay win and potentially the Jessie Buckley win. It's just like, it is the smaller movie, and that could be the thing why I could take it over some of the bigger name ones. And now we here in Babylon, and we already have gotten our first screenings. We will not know what the rating reception is because Paramount said they will not reveal the rating receptions until 2 days before the movie is out. So we still got like about another month, and it's about a month till Christmas since I'm recording this on November 25th, 2022. So we are about like a month till Christmas, and that's supposed to be around the time the movie comes out. I've heard praises for Margot Robbie and Diego Calva. Some people, it's like so divisive. Either they love it or they absolutely didn't. And we are not going to know much what is going to be it. It could be another movie where it would be very divisive, like if, let's say, The Whale was Vice or Bohemian Vice, and then Babylon's like Bohemian Rhapsody because of how crazy it is. It's just like, I don't know. I just have it right now as my Nightmare Alley where it just gets a bunch of text in order for it to get into the picture lineup. Because I don't know about Margot Robbie or Brad Pitt or Diego Calva. I heard Brad Pitt's getting in some controversy with the legal issues with of his ex-wife Angelina Jolie with some of the cases that's been going on. Not confident in screenplay at the moment. It's just like, it's so crazy. So I still have it in here, and I am really looking forward to it. It is one of my most anticipated films of the season. But just going the perspective of a predictor, is that going to be a movie the Academy is going to go towards to? Not specifically because it's centered around Hollywood, but how crazy the movie is going to be. There are still a couple of other movies that are still questioning, like some of the international ones, like All Quiet on the Western Front, Decision to Leave, because maybe I have it for screenplay and picture, maybe like A Man Called Out or A Living, but I seriously doubt that. Black Panther Wakanda Forever has finally been seen. It doesn't have the same momentum as the original, which was very understandable how the production history was because of the death of Boseman. But since people said it's not as good as the first film, although it is still good, but it's unlikely to get in unless if it can, because it would probably still have enough text to support it, like the original film did. But it just doesn't have that cultural impact that the original film had. But there is one movie we have to wait for. And that all depends on how it does when it comes out. And that is Avatar, The Way of Water. That movie is really going to depend, is it worth the wait? It's most likely going to be in some places that are going to be really hyped up for it. But it's just like in the United States, is it going to be the main question? Because James Cameron, just recently he said he wants to see this movie to pass $4 billion worldwide at the box office. In a pandemic? No. I don't think that's not unlikely. Although there might be some international countries that might really go all in on it, like China, Japan, maybe Brazil, or other countries like France or Italy, maybe Canada, maybe even here in America, we're not sure, or England, Ireland. Like, it really depends on all the countries around the world. Is this movie worth the wait? That's going to be the question. If it does, we might see James Cameron get in for the director race. We might see this in the picture race. And I think I should have put it in this lineup over Till, but I'm just waiting. I don't want to jump in right now until the movie is officially out. And that's what I think I'm waiting for, because I didn't win with Black Panther Wakanda Forever all this time. The movie came out. Although with some positive reviews, it wasn't had made that impact as the original. That's when I'm curious about The Way of Water. Is it going to have the same impact that the original had? Technical-wise, yes. But is it going to be worth for director and picture? I don't know. Mr. Cameron, we're all looking at you. Other than Damien Chazelle, it's all on you with your long-awaited sequel. So we are done with Best Picture. Now it's time for my bonus predictions for Best Animated Feature. I have made 2 changes. I have Ernest and Celestine 2, A Trip to Gibraltar, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and Turning Red. Now, I would like to say this. As of this November 25th recording, I did not look any early words for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Now, I have heard it has gotten some screenings already this weekend. But I haven't looked at what the reception is at the moment. So that's the reason why I have it in here without not knowing much of the reception. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, that's a tongue twister. It was reported that that is eligible along with the documentary Eternal Spring, and they did revise Apollo 10.5, A Space Age Childhood, to be eligible in this category. And Marcel looks like the more likely one if A24 is going to go big on this, because I have The Whale, I have Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I have Aftersun, and I think Marcel kind of fits it. And even got a Spirit Award nomination for Best Editing, by all means. So, if there is going to be one big independent film, it could be that one. Turning Red is confident, Del Toro's Pinocchio still in front. I believe December 10th, if I'm correct, is going to be the, if December 10th or 9th, like on the week when Del Toro's Pinocchio is going to be out on Netflix, that Ernest and Celestine 2 will be premiering in France. It's just questioning, is that going to have a US release date for qualification? If not, then maybe Suzumi no Tojomari might get in here. And if Puss in Boots: The Last Wish doesn't have a great reception, that's going to be really, I think we, and if Ernest, that's going to be very confident, because I think we can all agree the two have not moved away are Del Toro's Pinocchio and Turning Red. That's basically your top two. It's just like the fourth and fifth places are going to be determining who is going to get in, because Strange World is actually in the critical levels of Lightyear, so there have been some disappointments to okay receptions. So it doesn't look that confident being an experimental film, which is something Disney Animation has kind of done a couple of times and didn't work out, like Atlantis, Lost Empire, or Treasure Planet. And that's what you would say with Pixar with Lightyear, which didn't do well either critical-wise. So it just really depends on how, if people are going to be worth it for a Puss in Boots sequel. Wow, I don't know what else could come in here if the reactions for Puss in Boots doesn't, or Ernest and Celestine 2 do not do well. So this is just an up in the air question until when we get nominations. So that wraps up my predictions for the month of November. If you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button, comment down below what your predictions are, and do not criticize my predictions here for not having Babylon for anything else except for Pitcher. This is just my predictions, not all of us. So that's just it. And then next month in December will be my final predictions for the Big 8 before I do all the categories in January. So next month we'll do the final Big 8 predictions in solo video, where we'll see the official reactions to Babylon and Avatar: The Way of Water. And around Christmas time as well.